Hey, okay, we are rounding out the challenge. Challenge day number 5 is right now. I'm going to teach you how you can convert your audience into loyal paying clients, as well as to be inspiring and motivating and rock their world and all of that. But let's face it, we got to make sure that we rock your world, get you some money into your pocket, make speaking and using your story just a really lucrative strategy for you. And I can promise you that when you're out there speaking and you're spreading the word about your story and you're making money, you're making one hell of an impact in this world, okay? And the fact that we have social media and video and all of that stuff, we can make even bigger impact than we have ever can in the lifetime of our lives, right? Like this is a great time of life to build your business, and there really is no reason to not make a whole lot of money and a whole lot of impact. So today, I'm going to teach you how to add some extra money into your pocket. But before I move on, I just want to kind of do a real quick recap to check in and see how you're doing with posting all of your homework. Even if you haven't posted, day 1, 2, 3, or 4 yet, you still can, because it's all about showing up. All right, so we have one last daily prize for today, and then we have the grand prize winner, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so today I want to talk about making money with your speaking and with your story. And there's 3 ways to get paid or to make money with speaking and with your story. Number 1 is to get paid, where someone pays you to speak on stage. That is probably one of the sexiest ways to do it. I have a lot of people go, I just want to be a paid speaker. And yeah, totally get that, but you have to rock the house with your story. You have to be a fantastic speaker. So I'm not going to talk about that whole area because that's a different challenge and a different line of work. So the other 2 ways for your typical entrepreneur are pay to play, where you pay to speak on someone's stage. I've done that many, 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 many times, and I will continue to use that as a strategy because it's a fantastic way when someone has an event and you get an opportunity to speak, you just have to pay for it. You just want to make sure that you have the ROI by having a super fabulous talk and a story that just motivates people into action. And then the 3rd way is selling from the stage. So I've been talking about that a little bit on and off in this challenge. I think it was challenge number 3. I talked about offers and how to wow your audience the first 60 seconds on stage. Well, I also say that your story seeds the offer and your delivery nails the close. So selling from the stage isn't as scary as it sounds. Okay, so I'm just going to actually eliminate the word selling because a lot of people freak out. But you're just making offers. You're giving people an opportunity to think differently, know differently, get something free from you, or pay for something. Okay, and so selling from the stage or making offers it's actually more lucrative than getting paid to speak. I have been taught how to speak from both in the entrepreneurial world as well as those that are paid speakers that are in the Hall of Fame, who are in speaker bureaus, and they make $20,000 to $25,000 a talk. And that because that's your typical, well, not your typical, that's your higher end corporate guy, as opposed to like the Gary Vaynerchuks of the world who might be making 120. So the entrepreneur, so I was in this program, the entrepreneur speaker made 10 times more money than the paid speaker. Although the paid speaker was booked solid, they did their speaking gig, they went in to the gig, they got out, but the entrepreneur made a considerable amount of more money and more impact, because whenever the moment you walk out on stage, you're impacting someone's life, especially when you move them into action. Okay, so let's rock and roll here. I'm going to use the flip chart because we're going to do some money exercises. And here we go. I just have to make sure I got my notes. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to make an assumption here. I'm just calling this the fastest path to 100K. If you're already at 100K, then it's the fastest path to 200K. If you're at 200K, then it's the fastest path to 400K, and then to 800K, and it just go on and on and on and on, right? There's it's plentiful. So, but for the average entrepreneur, you're making less than $100,000. So I'm going to do a scenario where what I call it leaving money on the table, where your current strategy is making you your current income, but your desired income, and in this example, will be $100,000. And just do the math if your numbers are different. And I'm going to show you the gap income, and I'm going to show you how you're leaving money on the table. Okay? And Oh, yes. I was going to say, where's my calculator? Okay, so your current income. I'm just going to move this a bit forward here. Okay, so actually, do this. Okay, so your current income is, let's say it's $1,000. I got to do this for easy math, okay? Just because I'm a successful entrepreneur doesn't mean I'm the greatest with the math. So your current income is $1,000 a month. So that's $12K a year. If you want to make $100,000 a year, that income is $8,333 per month. Okay, so the gap income is $7,333. That is being left on the table that you're not getting in your pocket because you're bringing in $1,000. You're leaving $7,000 on the table to get your $8,000 a month. Okay, so we need to focus on this amount. Your current strategy that you're doing is working to get you $1,000 a month. So awesome. So just leave that alone for now. But we need to either give you new strategy or rejig your strategy to get you that extra $7,333 per month. So you need new or better strategy. Okay. Now, one of the templates that you're going to be getting today is called the Income Injector. And it's a great template that will help you with what I'm teaching you today. Okay. So what you want to take a look at is how much are you actually leaving on the money, how much money you're leaving on the table every year. So you have $7,000 a month times 12, and I've pre-done the math on this. You're leaving $87,996 every year on the table. So where does that money go if it's not going in your pocket? It's going in someone else's pocket, your competition's pocket. So because they're doing it, someone's making the 100K, and if it's not you, it's somebody else, and that's the money that they're bringing home. So we want to make sure that that goes in your pocket. Now, I'm going to just throw in another little OMG moment. If you take $87,996, right, multiply that by the number of revenue generating years that you still have left in your life, and you will be leaving this amount on the table. So let's say you're going to work for 10 more years, or you've got 10 more years of revenue generating activity before you either retire or, do whatever it is that you want to do. But you've got 10 years left. And if you don't change your current strategy, 87,000 times 10 years is now $879,000. Yeah, 920, I think. Whatever, it's $879,000 that's being left on the table in 10 years. Now, hello, anyone, if you're a parent, you know how fast 10 years goes. If you're over 30, you know how fast 10 years will go. It's like lightning speed. So don't be thinking, oh, well, I'll do it next year or next month or, in the future. Now is what you got to be really focusing on, is what are you doing now? Because we got to change what's going on up here, and then we got to change the action that you're doing, right? I call it head, heart, feet alignment. So many of us have our heart into it, but our head is saying, well, next year, and our feet are dragging behind us, okay? So you are now leaving almost $1 million on the table. But let's say you're like me. I'm 51 years old. God knows how long I'll be living till, but I've got at least another 20 years that I'll be wanting to generate income, whether it's passive or active income, it doesn't matter. I'm going to just put down here 20 more years. How much have we got left on the table? I just got to move that down a little bit. You have 1, 7, 5, 9, 20. See if that number clearly. Okay, I asked you a question. I'll ask you a question. Almost $2 million is being left on the table for 20 years. Almost $1 million at 10 years. So I ask you this question: what could you do with an extra $1 million? I don't know. I could think of a few things. What could you do with an extra $2 million? I don't know. But here's the reality: is that this is active or passive income, and this is income that's non-interest related. It's non-compounded. So. Did I say that right? Yeah, income. It's non-compounded. So this is just money that is just sitting under your mattress or something like that. What if you added the 7% or the 10% or the 20% interest that you would accumulate year over year when you invest your money, whether it's investing in yourself or investing in real estate or whatever. So this actual number isn't real. This is probably, 10 times higher than it actually is. Because you want to think of income, not just for yourself, but you want to think of income as long-term. I call it having the big, hairy, and that's on the strategy that we're going to use. Okay? So what do you think the strategy is that I'm going to say that's going to get you from, the extra million or 2 million in your pocket? Sharing your story and speaking on stage. That's how you can definitely ramp up your income in a nanosecond, not in 2-3 years. I'm talking in a nanosecond when you learn how to share your story, when you know how to write and deliver a captivating talk that moves your audience, but you consistently do 1 gig a month, okay? 1 gig a month. Now, I'm going to be really conservative here, okay? And by the way, I was being super conservative with the 100K because in today's day and age, it's kind of easy to make 100K with the resources that we have. So, okay, so let's say you have 1 gig a month and you got 30 people there. So let's say this is just a networking event and you've got a whole bunch of them. Remember in call number 4, we talked about how to network and get out there. So let's say you're just doing 1 gig a month at your local networking event. There's 30 people there. Now, let's say you make a free offer. Okay, so you got a freebie. And I'm just going to say you have 28, maybe 29 people that say yes to your freebie. So I'm just going to say 30 people. You have 30 more people on your list. And if you don't know what a list is, we need to talk. On your list that you can then nurture to get them to know, like, and trust you, have more touch points, and make more money with this group of people because they go from a cold audience to now a really warm to hot audience because they know you and they've experienced you. So you have 30 people on your list, which is gold. And I'm going to use the rule of thumb of 1 in 3 people that say yes to a paid offer. And I only did the pre-notes here so I wouldn't have to think about it. So let's say, I've done this before where I've had a $47 offer. Okay, so maybe it's an event that you're putting on, or maybe it's a really low-end audio program that you're doing, so that's now you're creating that passive income. And if we use the rule of thumb of 1 in 3, 10 people will say yes, times $47, you have just made $470 at your local networking event talking for 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, do that all day long, right? Do that once a week, right? That's 4 times a month. So now you're up to, $2,000 a month. Extra income. Okay, scenario 2. Let's say you're still at the 1 gig a month, right? And let's say you're doing a higher, let's say it's somebody else's event. So let's say it's an actual event. Maybe it's a day-long event or something like that. There's 75 people in the room and you speak for 1 hour, okay? Oops. 75 people get to hear you, know, like, and trust you. You offer something for free. And let's say you have, 75 people that say yes. Now you have 75 people more on your list who are now a warm to a hot lead that you can nurture. And you make an offer. We've got the 1 in 3, so 25 people will say yes. And let's say your offer's $497, just under $500, right? Which is a great thing. You can have a payment plan, maybe a 2-payment plan or something like that. But you've got 25 people saying yes to your $500 offer. So I find it so funny that I have to do this. Now, you just made $12,425 from a 1-hour talk, 25 people saying yes for a really low ball offer of $497. So let's say you're a naysayer out there and you're like, nah, hogwash, I can't sell $497. Let's say it's $297, right? You cut it nearly in half, and now you've just made $7,400, $7,425. Not bad for an hour, right? So your income is $7,000 per hour. Hello, awesome strategy. Okay, so now what I want to do is show you if you took this same gig, okay? Oops. And you did 2 gigs a month, right? You had 75 people there. You did the freebie. So now you have, so if you've done it twice, right? So it's times 2. You have 150 people on your list. How awesome is that? Right? Same thing, rule of thumb, $497 times 25 people, right? Now your income is $24,850. So seems crazy, but I just needed to show you the math. That just 2 gigs, you can make $25K a month. $25,000 a month is, how much is that per year, right? Like, let's do the math on that. You're $250,000 from 2 gigs. You've made, more than $200,000 on 2 speaking gigs. Guys, I can't stress this enough, how beautiful this is. How beautiful this is. And you can do this in your 50-kilometer radius. You don't have to get on a plane and go somewhere, but you can if you want, okay? And likewise, if you have $297 offer, right? Another 25 people, you now are almost at $15K for a really low ball $297 offer. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of let that sink in for a second here, because people, and I'm just gonna slow this down for a second. I want to be really super honest and super serious with you now. Your story is hands down the best asset that you have in your arsenal of sales tools. And you can have a totally sucky strategy, and even 1 gig a month, that's not like a super awesome strategy, although it's a fantastic strategy because it's better than what you were doing before. But it's a strategy that shares who you are, and people get to know you. Because remember what I said is that people buy you. They don't buy your product. They don't buy your stuff. They buy you. And your story, hands down, is the most important tool that you must sharpen. It must be so amazingly delivered, told, understood, listened to. So remember, the pre-work before we did the soul story and challenge number 1, we talked about what is your vision. I gave you a free audio download of your vision planning. And I've had some people say that it's been, such a game changer and a life changer for them. And I can promise you that when you're crystal clear on what your vision is, what your financial vision is, and you start telling your story to people, and not just blabbering your story. There's a lot of really bad storytellers out there that try to incorporate their story in a talk, and they haven't had the training, they don't know how to deliver it, and it just sucks. It really does. And it's really a shame, because they probably have an amazing story of pain and solution that we're not hearing because they're just not delivering it properly. So when I started to share my story, everything changed for me, because I was black and white. Nobody was going to learn my story. No one was going to see me vulnerable. No one was going to see me or hear me struggle, because I kept thinking, who's going to want to hire a business coach that, her life sucked, right? Like, nobody in my head was like, nobody wants to hear that. And, especially when I'm talking about mindset stuff, and I had my own mindset stuff happen, when the divorce, both of my parents passing away, and then having the paralysis in my arms, I was pretty messed up. But I still built my business, because I thought that what you needed to do was put your nose to the grindstone. And that is part of it. You got to be in action. But it got me only so far. And I had a ceiling on my income. I had a ceiling on my growth. People were starting to be turned off by me, and because they knew that I was hiding something, right? And I didn't really know it at the time that I was hiding something, but I was thinking, okay, well, I don't want anyone to know the real me, because it was too painful. So that's when I crashed and I burned, and I had that total spiritual breakdown. And when I had those moments of, I just want to go and work at Starbucks, because it's got to be way easier than this. And it was the universe's way of cracking me open and saying, Odette, it's time you shared your story. People want to hear it, and people's lives will be changed, because you're just going to be honest and you're going to be real. So I dug in and I hired someone to help me uncover what my story was, because, quite frankly, I don't think I knew what it was, and helped me to share the story in a way that was really captivating. And I learned how to deliver a talk from the front of the room. I learned how to write a talk that was so emotionally engaging with story content and offers. And I started to see a difference in my income. My income just grew dramatically. Like, I really used that formula where I just started doing 1 or 2 gigs a month. And then I started doing 4, 5, 6, 7 gigs a month. And when people say, where'd you find the time? Well, I just basically started to change what I was doing, the time management. So instead of networking all the time, I was speaking all the time, and I was raising my rates, and I was building my business with group programs, masterminds, still doing one-to-one work with people, VIP sessions, and then developed online programs. So the whole structure of my business changed. And most importantly, what I was noticing happening was I was having greater impact in my own life. I was feeling phenomenal because I was seeing people's growth. People would come up to me after a talk and say, "Oh my God, Odette, thank you for sharing that. And I'm going to take action now. I feel I'm not the same person that I was when I walked into this event." And we can get all the compliments and accolades for speaking. But when you actually see people's lives change right in front of you from you sharing your story in a really captivating talk, my purpose and my life completely changed. And my mission now is to help people find their voice, to speak up, to share their story, and build their business in a way that is both serves them and their family and serves the clients and the world. So I encourage you to take a look at the training that we've done, take a look at your own soul story, and take a look at your content and the offer and all of that. And so we've got a lot of the pieces of the puzzle, and quite frankly, we've just scratched the surface, right? And if you know that you want to add speaking as a way to take yourself to 100K or 200K or 400K or whatever, to take you to 7 figures, then I can really help you do that. And I can help you uncover your story. I can help you craft your talk so that you don't feel salesy or swarmy when you're making an offer. And I can show you how to do it super quickly. When I first started, it didn't take me months. It was like within 30 days, I started to see a big difference because I was out there speaking and sharing my story. And I started to make money right away. And that 2-minute story that I told you at that networking event, in a by accident networking event that I went up in front of the room and spoke for 2 minutes, and I made $20,000 on the spot, and then $20,000 in follow-up, and then $100,000 by speaking at someone else's stage because she saw me at that event. Like, that is life altering. That's a game changer. And what was for me, and it definitely was for my kids and the things that we could accomplish. So if you know that you want to really make a bigger difference in this world and you want to make bigger income, I really do invite you to take a look at the Speak from the Soul and Sell in 6 Minutes or Less program. We have all of the information in the email and here. And I really encourage you to take a look at that because it's a really easy way and very, very cost-effective way for you to take yourself and project yourself into that the 100,000 and then into the 7-figure realm. Because if you can make 100,000, you can make $1 million. That I can promise you. I've done it many, many times. And I never thought that I could, right, until I started sharing my story and speaking. So the Speak from the Soul and Sell in 6 Minutes or Less program, all the details are available for you. Now, there's some people that have asked about working privately with me, and I have that option as well. And when you work privately with me, you actually get the Speak from the Soul program for no charge, for free. And the way that we do that is you fill out the Let's Get to Know Each Other questionnaire. And I'll see if you're ready for the one-to-one because I don't just take everybody. So you want to fill out that questionnaire, send it and our team will have a look at it. And we'll jump on the phone and have a one-to-one call to see where you're at, where you want to go, what your obstacles or challenges are, and I'll see if I can be the person to help you get there. And if I'm not, I'll move you on to another resource. But I guarantee that when you start sharing your story and you learn, especially learn from me, how to write that talk, your world is going to change. So I want to say thank you very much for being on the challenge with me, and take a look at the Speak from the Soul and Sell in 6 Minutes or Less program. And if you want to join me one-to-one, we have that option as well. So I will see you on the other side of your journey, your story. Take care.